I don't think there's anyone at DIG who is content with where we are right now. Everyone is spending all of their energy and time to figure out how to turn things around and improve, but we need to have results.
So obviously for us, it was a little bit of a disappointing spring split, not being able to make playoffs. I think a couple players didn't perform up to their level. The whole team as a whole really didn't perform up to its level, and therefore the organization didn't. And so things had to change. So we made sure that we made some changes in between the spring and summer split that we thought would bring the team together in a more cohesive way. And in trying to arrive at those decisions, they took a couple weeks, right? And as a consequence, our boot camp was only about a week long before the first week of the season, and we just haven't gotten off to the start that we wanted. Obviously, no one plans on going 0-4 to start a split. And it was at that point in time, I was back east in Cape Cod, spending some time with my parents during the coronavirus period, and realized that despite the fact that I can run an org remotely, right, you really need to be able to look your players in the eye and from a socially distanced, standpoint, and let them know that you care. Let them know that you're all vested. Let them know that you're trying to and you want to provide them everything you possibly can in order for them to win. So with new faces in the org and the need to still get together and improve communication really across the board, both in-game and out-game, right? We got everybody together for a barbecue at the Academy House. Toby was on the grill, firing it up, cooking all the delicious meats for everybody. And it was really great. I mean, we always consider ourselves a 10-man roster. It was great to meet the new guys to the team, and it was great to be able to look them in the face and kind of listen to the problems that they've been facing as a team, hear them out, learn how we can be better, how we can better support these guys, and then also explain to them just the massive amounts of efforts that on the business side we've been going through to support them. And really that does come down to one major thing, and that's obviously being able to play under one roof. For the first 2 weeks of the season, all our players were still in their apartments playing solo. It's obviously not an ideal situation for guys that are typically sitting up on stage and they can see and hear and breathe all the same air as their teammates. And so we really were trying super hard to recreate that atmosphere. Thankfully, we have an awesome partner in Verizon that was able to work with us on those needs and get us back here in a safe way, right, with tons of hand sanitizer and disinfectant and socially distanced players and all that. But it was difficult, right? Like there's a lot of interest here. There's a lot of sign-offs that you need to get and a lot of safety and security that we obviously have to go through. But for the guys and myself at the barbecue, like, it's time to change the course of this season. I really do believe that despite the poor start, that we have the talent on the roster, the right coaches, and the synergies to go forward and make a run at playoffs. And if we make playoffs, we will be dangerous. Yeah, so obviously one of the biggest changes that we made in between spring and summer split was the decision to move on from Huni and to go out and find us a new top laner. I think clearly bringing Viper in was a smart move for us, right? Very well-respected player, had done great things at FlyQuest. And we were pretty sure that at the very least what Viper was going to be able to do was come in and present real competition between him and Lourlo. Obviously in the first 2 weeks, we decided to go with Viper. Our GM and our coaches made that as a conscious decision, which totally makes sense. But Lourlo, to his credit, had an amazing spring split, kept his head down, did all the right things, played well, played at an LCS level during the spring split. And even when he knew that position was open in the first, to begin the summer split, he still put his head down, worked hard, and never, ever once complained that we had gone out and signed Viper and then started him, right? Which tells you one thing: Lourlo is an absolute professional, a pro's pro. And I can't commend him enough for not only the level of play and the effort that he's put in, but that level of professionalism. Like, it makes all the sense in the world for us, and I'm looking forward to seeing the damage that he can do.
Lourlo's been playing exceptionally well. In Academy, he was doing really well, winning lane, impacting the map. His comms are really good as well. And then bringing him onto the main roster, this whole week of scrims, he's been a huge boost to the team in terms of morale, in terms of what he brings, consistency. He's very consistent, and he's good being on the strong side with counter pick, and he's really good on weak side as well. So we're definitely excited to how he performs over the weekend. So we've been at the office starting from Thursday, and it's definitely really nice. We start to get, that camaraderie building, and we get a boost of energy, which is really good too. It's really easy to kind of fall into kind of like a sluggish state of mind when things aren't going well. And so it's really good to feel refreshed, see faces, talk to people in person, and start to build that synergy in game and out of game.
In terms of returning to LCS from Academy, I feel like I made a lot of individual improvements throughout spring in terms of like how I viewed the game. I think I was working a lot on it with Echo Fox Academy, previous split. But I think having a lot of more just knowledgeable faces in my first split here really developed my game knowledge even more so than previous teams. And also the addition of Simon, back when he was coaching for the Academy team, he taught me a lot about how I should think about the game, and it's carried on with me to now. So I think not only the players I played with on Academy, but also the coach was a big reason why I made drastic improvements. Overall, my transition to LCS in terms of synergy it's been okay. I think for any player coming up, things aren't going to be 100% perfect in terms of how you communicate with each individual. I did play some tryout scrims before the season, so I played with them a little bit, and I also filled in for Hooney in Spring Split, so I got to play with them as well back then. But in terms of how the meta shaped up and how they're playing the game now, there was definitely things I was learning from them and just adjusting to. So I think as time goes on, it's gonna get easier and easier because I only had about 4 days with the roster recently, and I think it's gonna just help improve more the more time we get. So.
All right, we are on to the Rift. Let us go on to this game. It's going to be exciting one as Dignitas takes on Team Liquid. Unfortunate start here for Dig, but they're going to change the roster around. Lourlo steps into the top lane for Viper, and they're hoping that is going to be the little bit of extra that they need.
So for the Team Liquid game, I think we had a really good start to the game. We got first blood, first dragon, but then we ended up messing up a Rift Herald swap timing, and then they got kind of back in the game from it. Overall, at the end of the TL match it was triple inhib down, and we felt like we couldn't give them Elder Dragon or the game was over anyways. So it's we were gonna try to defend the bases too, but we weren't fast enough to get to Elder. They got Elder and they TF ulted into our base too, so we weren't fast enough on the play, and then they also ended the game. So it just looked really bad because I don't think we had a clear enough plan in the game, and as is, the situation was really difficult to maneuver because it's either we go for something really crazy or we just sit 5-man in base and they get Elder and Baron with triple inhib down, they just walk down mid and they just ace us. But yeah, it does suck feeling how the game does end in a way like that, but I think we had to be creative in terms of what we want to do.
Against EG, it was a difficult draft to play out. We didn't have much engage, so we needed to make sure that we had a clean early game, and we did have a Bard roam, we had mid control, and we did burn flash on Jace, so we were able to get the early Rift Herald, but we never converted that to a plan, whether that was bringing bot lane up or playing through mid because we're against a Corki who's scaling really hard and then contesting second dragon. We just seemed pretty lost. A lot of people on the team are frustrated. That doesn't mean they're not hopeful, but I think it's important that they are frustrated and that it's healthy to be frustrated. If they weren't frustrated, then they shouldn't be in this profession. So everyone does feel the need to do a lot better than this. It sucks to be 0-6. They feel a lot of pressure on themselves and from the community. And so it's just up to us to stay hopeful and keep improving, because there have been clear improvements from week to week. Week 1, we played pretty badly overall. Week 2, we were in positions to win both games. And then week 3 against TL, we were in a really insane position to win that game. So all we have to do is just keep improving, and luckily 8 teams make playoffs, so our goal here, make playoffs, get to best of fives. If we improve over the next 6 weeks, there's no chance why we can't compete with the best teams, but we need to take it day by day, and we need to start getting wins so that we can actually make it to playoffs.